I'm grateful when I see my kids. My wife and I weren't sure we were ever going to have kids. And now that we have them, the blessing of seeing them every day when we go in to wake them up and get them ready for school, I really don't have the words to describe them.
Caroline, did you sleep well? Yes.
The difference between the morning routine I had growing up and what my kids get to experience couldn't be more different.
Give that a kiss.
Okay, thank you. I grew up in a house just like this. We'd get up at 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning to make sure that my mom could be on time to drive in the bus. We would ride the bus for 2 or so hours before we would transfer and then get on our bus to school. I remember watching my mom try to whip the wheel of that big steering wheel on the city bus with no power steering. She actually still has injuries today from the work that she did. Growing up in Miami, every one of my older brothers had some kind of criminal background history. There might be a knock at the door and it'd be a police officer telling my mother that, my brother had gotten in trouble and that she or my dad would need to come and see about him. I remember very distinctly my mother closing the door and just watching tears well up in her face. I remember making the promise to myself that I wasn't gonna make my mom cry like that. And if she was gonna cry because she was happy. My grandmother, who herself never had a formal education, she would say, "Boy, go to school, mind your teachers, get your lesson, and one day bring that college home." She said, "Bring it home for your little brother and your little sister who don't know what it is. Bring it home for that little boy down the street that you play with and God knows where he's gonna end up. Bring it home." So my brothers, when they finally decided they were going to get their lives together, there were not a lot of opportunities available to them to go and work someplace. Our society doesn't look well on people who have a criminal record. I believe firmly that people deserve second chances, that you make mistakes, you break the law, you pay the penalty, but that you ought to be given a second chance. Yet we punish people for a lifetime for a mistake. I can't wait to be able to move forward a vision in this state that puts people to work at every rung on the income level. That's what I want to do for the state of Florida. And if you look back over the time I've spent as mayor, you'll see that I have leaned into the challenges, embraced disruptive technologies, tried to create an entrepreneurial ecosystem here that allows anybody with a dream and a vision and the will to get it done to create the business of their own future and of their own desire that they can be proud of and set an example for the next generation workforce. As governor of Florida, I can't wait to invest the kind of resources to build the infrastructure of this state that makes us a 21st century state. I can't wait to have an education system that rewards teachers, that educates children, creates an opportunity to learn for all of them. Because regardless of what anyone says, it is still true that access to a good quality education can be the difference between living in intergenerational poverty and deciding for yourself whether or not you're going to have a different future that allows you to keep a roof over your head and food on the table and a good job that doesn't require you to have 3 jobs just to make ends meet. When I think back to that young version of myself sitting on that city bus, one, I'm amazed at the opportunities that have been provided. But I also recognize that were it not for a good public education, caring and loving parents, a grandmother who prayed for me, and quite frankly, people who believed enough in me to say that I could, I I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And it's my firm belief that every single young person ought to have that same opportunity. And I plan to work as hard as I can every day if given the opportunity to make sure that every child has that same opportunity.